All right, man, we're recording.
Just count down. What's the date, bro?
Today is October 3rd, 2019.
Okay. Are we rolling?
We're recording. Yeah.
We're recording. Hey, everybody. Shawnee and Ty Storkovich here. It's October 3rd, 2019. And so we're going to start off this slate as this is video one of today. So, Ty, tell me a little bit about when you came back from 14 years of being in the service and 3 combat tours. What was it like when you came back home to Shelly and your son and then your stepkids?
Yeah. So when I got out in 2011, that's when I left the military. 2010 to the early part of 2011, it was my last deployment, my 3rd deployment, and that was to Afghanistan. After 14 years in the military, all that good stuff. So coming home from that, I was getting out of the military. I mean, I was like leaving the military and coming home to see my family. And after that Afghan tour, my son Cooper was born, like kind of like in the middle of that tour. I was able to see him, be born and all that. But so that's what I was coming home to, is a newborn, essentially a new wife, and looking forward to a new career. And when you're in the military, you wear everything is on your uniform. I mean, like all your accomplishments, your rank, the unit you're with, just like everything, and it becomes part of your identity. And the military itself just becomes an identity for a lot of people, and you shed that when you get out. And for me, I thought, it's not going to be a big deal. I'm just going to move on to civilian world. I was wrong. After a while,
you came out of the military as what ranking?
Staff sergeant promotable. So
staff sergeant
promotable.
Okay.
Promotable to the next rank.
Okay.
So anyways, like getting out of that, I had a career as a non-commissioned officer, several schools throughout my life in the military. And so you come home, and for me, it was like, well, who am I? A lot of people are like, they create their identity out of their job, and they're like, well, I can be a cop. Well, maybe you wouldn't be a good cop. Maybe that's just not for you. I did that route. I went and joined Gardena Police Department back in the day, and that just wasn't a good fit for me, just because I didn't like the culture of it. It's too much liability. There's a lot. So when I got out, I was like, what do I want to do? And I was looking at different like bodyguard jobs with Gavin DeBecker and Associates, and I was looking at overseas work, and I ended up settling pretty quickly on working overseas with the State Department and contracting and stuff. But initially coming home for me was you're happy to get out of the military, because there's so much suck factor in the military that you have to deal with, that you don't know how to navigate that. You don't have the support network anymore. You don't have anybody that's kind of like to lean on. Is difficult. It's really difficult, because you're kind of out there floating in society, not knowing who you are, what you want to do. You're especially in the infantry, a lot of those job skills are not transferable, like direct hard skill sets. But
right. I mean, I can imagine, Ty, you come out, you're prepared to use a weapon, and you're the brain surgeon of the battlefield as a sniper. But now you come back to civilian life. I mean, what real jobs are left for you there to actually, to quiet the brain down, get reacclimated, become be a husband, be a father. I can just wonder, I mean, where do people like you, what do you guys do? I mean, you guys aren't obviously driving Uber or Lyft or climbing a telephone pole.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's funny. I know somebody who did actually go climb up the telephone, do those wire things like that. But obviously that's few and far between, especially if you have head trauma issues and your balance is off, whatever. But there are sources, there's resources on like the websites for the military, like they call it ACAP, Army Career and Alumni Program, for the military, for the Army. It's called like Soldier for Life now, but there's these programs that have like, co-ops where employers will list, their jobs, and a lot of it is like, railroads and um, bodyguard stuff, overseas work, things like that. But it really depends on like it getting out, and what you do after that really depends on what you can do. A lot of people are just like their cup runneth over with stress, and they don't want to deal with people. They're just not in that space, and they're not getting better, so they're not gonna be able to handle that. So right now, I really don't know. What I recommend is networking. If you don't know how to network, join a group who does know how to network, and get out there, meet people, put yourself out there and see what's available, who's available, and take whatever job that you can handle at the time. Penetrate your VA benefits, go to school. I know you get a monthly stipend if you go to college with the VA using the GI Bill. So that's paid for.
How big is that stipend?
It depends on the zip code you live in. So if you're going to school in LA, your stipend might be $2,300 a month. I mean, depending on where, what the zip code of your school is or where you live at. So, but that's free. That's free college. That's free money. And I would recommend, definitely, if you can do that, do it. But I know that cuts into that school time, because that's full time. You got to go full time to get that stipend, and which cuts into your family, it cuts into your job, and that cuts into your time alone, which a lot of people need to like recover just from day-to-day stuff. So, that's why I think that the GI Bill for college is the penetration rate for those benefits is like shockingly low. It's I don't want to say the wrong statistics, but that's out there. That's free money for us, and it's free job training, and we're underutilizing it as a whole.
Interesting. Okay, now you come home. I mean, your head's hurting, your body hurts. Let's talk about the VA is accessible to you guys. What is the process even to get an office visit with the VA?
Well, the first thing you got to do is when you get out of the military, you have a end of time in service physical, and so you get all your medical records, and then you can elect to take a physical. So they do like a full physical on you, and then record all that stuff for benefits down the line. I never penetrated the VA benefit whole deal, so I'm definitely not the person to ask about that. But the reason I didn't get a claim for all the stuff that's messed me up is because I didn't want it to keep me from getting a job doing overseas work. I mean, I was still running and gunning when I got out of the military, and I wanted to be able to continue to qualify to do that job. And I didn't know if, being disabled with a VA rating was going to affect that. So I just elected not to get the physical and go to the VA.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what alcohol with you? Were you drinking a lot? Were you trying to numb your head? What vices was Ty using in order just to calm himself down and settle himself down?
Yeah. So like when you're in the military, especially in combat arms, like the infantry, like what I was in, everybody lives in the barracks. They're like 4-story buildings, and it ends up being like a frat house. I mean, everybody's drinking. So in the culture of the infantry, it's just like everybody's basically functional alcoholics. I mean, everybody's running around, and you play hard and you work hard and play hard, and nothing is more true in the infantry than that. So a culture of drinking and alcohol, just that's like celebrated, it continues with you. I got out, and I was, I couldn't drink when I was overseas, obviously doing the triple canopy and everything like that. And, I was fine headspace wise when I was doing that job, because I was still doing the job that I was doing before, essentially, but it was big boy rules. I didn't have the stupidity of the military to deal with. I didn't really have any real bad effects that made me want to drink. But during that job, I also blew my knee out during a sniper course with Department of Defense or Department of State, and that kept me ultimately from continuing to do that job overseas, protecting Department of State people in Baghdad. So I came home and I'm like, got surgery, and the surgeon, in basic, no bedside manner surgeon talk, was like, yeah, you can't do that anymore. You can't run, jump, squat, crawl, whatever on your knee. And I'm like, yeah, really? Like, that's what you're telling me? You just told me I no longer can do my job. I have no more use in this world. That's like me telling him, you can't be a doctor anymore. Have a great day. That's what it felt like. So I hit the bottle hard, like, after that, just to deal with it, man. I mean, trying to get like out of that reality into an alternate reality, and it worked. But it's, alcohol, it has its really bad downsides. And if you're in a bad place mentally and you go drink and you do it for a long time, and you're just going to be a miserable person and nobody's going to want to be around you. So I had to kind of transition off of that, which has been awesome. So I rarely drink. I'll drink socially, or if, like, sometimes the anxiety gets really, really, really bad, the only thing that helps in that moment is to have a drink or two or four. So, but I don't crave it. I don't want it. I hate the feeling of a hangover. And I think that's what helped me stop drinking, was like, the 2-3 days of feeling like shit afterwards just became not worth it, just to escape that. And there are other vices and crutches out there that they're a lot healthier, that can get you through. But yeah, I think alcohol was my main vice. I was never a pill popper. Opioids, they don't, like, I was subscribed them, normally for short-term pain management, a couple times in my life. And I just, like, I took them, and I'm like, God, these make me feel like shit. They didn't make me feel good like it does with a lot of other people. So I never had a pill problem, never had a drug problem. Alcohol was my crutch. That's what was getting me through.
Wow. Okay, so let me get this straight. You come out, you serve our country, you're a hero. You come back home, you're not getting paid by the Army. Your health benefits are really limited based on what the VA says. You think you have PTSD, but hasn't been done, hasn't been discovered yet. You have something going on. You have concussions, you have PTSD, something's going on with your body. Are you sensitive to light? Are you sensitive to sound? Your kid crying, your dog barking? How is all that? I mean, was that tough as well?
Yeah. So, like, the kids crying, like, I have really light sensitivity big time. And that's why I really curl my hat around my eyes. If like, I just did that and it popped up, and this window that's over here is just natural light that's indirect. It's just coming through, and I can feel the pressure kind of, in the forefront of my head, which just, like, ruins my mood. Sound sensitivity. Yeah. Like, bigger claps and stuff like that. And I got a lot of tinnitus and really diminished hearing in my right ear. So anything that is loud really shocks me, because I'm not expecting it to be that loud. Anybody if they're just sitting there, and they read their phone, like, and they're like, oh my God, and I'm driving or something like that, that sets me off. That's like, it puts me in that, like, fight or flight. Let's see, crowds.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I can't go in crowds. I don't know how I don't know how I go to like amusement parks sometimes. You know what I mean? Those are really bad. Just Walmart, any of these stores, malls, I can't. It's just hard for me to go to. I last about 15 minutes and I just have to leave. Let's see.
Now, you said you like to read, you do yoga, you meditate, or at least you tried to. Is any of that helping you? Is there anything in particular that you're able, like, advice on that level?
Yeah, I think actually yoga, because along with just, like, the other damage, like the mental trauma that I've been through, going that long in in the infantry, and we were working out really hard, and our physical fitness level was really, it was a way above and beyond what's expected, even in the infantry. And to get to that point, you're going to destroy your body a little bit, and I just have like aches and pains all over, and so
you were running. Your time was amazing in the mile. Do you want to share with us where you're at?
It was compared to other people. I'm not a natural runner, but in the Army, the 2 mile, the Army physical fitness test, you run 2 miles, and I think my best time was like 11 minutes and 58 seconds for a 2 miler. So
5 minute mile. That's a sub 5 minute mile. That's pretty remarkable compared to the average Joe. We're not doing that. If we get 10, 12 minute mile, we're lucky.
Yeah, we were running on a, almost like a marathon training schedule. Infantry are just like lean and mean. So,
wow. And then 80 pounds of stuff on your back or on your body, hiking up, the mountains in Afghanistan must have been a toll as well. So Ty, I can't even imagine. So you're coming back home. The VA is hard to get to, as what I've been told. To set a meeting with them could take months. Then you set a meeting with them that then they give you to someone else, which is months later. And you're dealing with the PTSD, you're dealing with the depression. And then there's no wonder why the suicide rate is so high amongst you guys, because it's almost impossible to deal with. And then you guys, there's no real money coming through. There's no real revenue coming through. And you guys are trying to refine yourself.
Yeah, I think one of the most difficult things too is veterans, maintaining employment as well, because it's like there are days, and Sean, this from me, like I can't deal with things. Like imagine if you didn't know, it's like a ticking time bomb landmine that you step on in the morning, and it's like, okay, if you're going to work Monday through Friday, you've got to go to work Monday through Friday. Like that is, your employer is not going to be lenient for you having days where you just literally, you can't pull yourself out of bed, or you can't like deal with people, or, and those days they come frequently. And I just imagine a lot of people that don't have sympathetic employers are not going to make room for that in their job, because they're running a business and like they're paying you. So I'd imagine it's really difficult for veterans, a lot of veterans, to maintain decent employment, just because of the behavioral issues and mental issues and in a lot of ways physical issues that they have to deal with. And it's really devastating in their own minds. They're confused. They don't understand what's going on. They can't articulate how they're feeling. They don't understand why. And it's hard to have a 40-hour-a-week job.
Yeah. Listen, if anyone understands it, you and I joke all the time with memory loss. I've got short-term memory loss. You got short-term memory loss.
Yep.
And then we try to put together a full day worth of work. And it's, the story's not about me, it's about you. But there's days where I put in 3 hours or 4 hours, I'm crushed.
Yeah.
And then if I'm not doing certain things to keep my body endurance, because coffee will not help me. Coffee will actually burn me out.
Yeah. And back to, and it does a lot of people. And I know I drink coffee every morning. It's really not great for people with anxiety. I have anxiety. It's just a constant state, but what it does for me is it pulls me out of this brain fog that I have too, that I like need something to pull me out of that, or else I'm just fucked, for the rest of the day. But back to what's helped me as far as, yoga is great, because I can't lift the weights like I used to lift the weights. You know what I mean? I'm not putting, I'm not repping 305 on the bench anymore. I just can't do it. I'm afraid to put 135 on and see where my shoulder is going to collapse at. Yoga.
A lot of weight.
Yeah. But that's what we were doing,
Let me digress for a second. Just go back. How did Shelly handle it? Your wife is, I met your wife. She's amazing. She's super woman, a Wonder Woman, and she's strong. She's motivated. She's got a full-time job. She takes care of the kids. How was your relationship with Shelly on and off throughout all these years coming back?
Yeah, especially when I got back from my knee injury and stuff like that, it just wasn't the best, because I was not in a good mood. I couldn't sleep. I was staying up till 4 a.m, drinking, and she's thinking that like I'm not wanting to be around her, which was not the case. It just, I couldn't go to bed. Like I couldn't sleep. So I'd stay up, and she's thinking I'm talking to other women online and things like that. And it's not, it was just like me just trying to deal
Well,
with,
the way I look at it, Ty, you spent 3 tours, I mean, in combat. So that's 3 years, right?
yeah, with the
Did you
army.
ever get, I mean, you were sleeping, sometimes you said you were sleeping, literally in the woods, a camp set up, or on the fob, but you're always being attacked. You're always under fire. I mean, you couldn't really get a full night's sleep because you never knew if there was an incoming bomb or shots coming at you. I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, if you want to kind of explain on that, I mean, your nervous system's so badly damaged and so fucked up because how are you supposed to go home and sleep now if you think, you're under fire all the time?
Yeah, no, you're definitely in a fight or flight, hypervigilance mode there. Cause especially us, we were going out on missions, daytime, nighttime. And, when you're outside the wire, so to speak, off the fobs on mission, you expect it, like you expect to go out there and turn the corner and pull the trigger or not pull the trigger or whatever you do. But and then when you get back to the fob, the forward operating bases or wherever you stand, you you can't really relax because you're still up on security. You're still taking indirect fire like mortars and missiles and or rockets or whatever that the Taliban or the enemy would set off. So you're really, is really harassment. You can never relax. Like I mean
I never shut down that brain to actually heal itself because the body heals itself through sleep.
Yep.
Do you want to stop it at this one? And do you want to end it right now? Are you okay? And then
Yeah, I'm fine, dude.
this is great. This is fantastic.
I just think like for me, the yoga has been the most impactful as far as getting me, because I feel it's doing something for me physically, but it's also
I'm gonna shut this one down because the sound's coming in. You keep talking. I'm listening.
But yoga it forces you to breathe. That's one of the foundations of yoga is your breath work, and that is so crucially important. And we don't think about breathing because we just do it automatically. But breathing is another, like breath work is another kind of modality or technique or whatever this worked for me. I know Sam Morris has taught me a lot about breath work initially and has put me through some breath work exercises, and for shutting off that anxiety, or that like especially for me in the mornings, my anxiety was really bad. Like I'd wake up and I'd feel like somebody just jabbed an adrenaline shot into my heart. And as I'm opening my eyes, it was just terrifying, and that set the theme for the day. But the breath work in yoga early morning really kind of stopped it. It kind of interrupted that loop, that anxiety loop, long enough to where it went away for a while. And it creeps back because you're still going to think about things, but having these tools available for me really managed it. Meditation as well. And I almost get into a meditative state when I'm doing yoga. I mean, you can do these things. You can do the movements and the poses. You can concentrate on your breathing, and you can meditate on your breathing and your poses. I think that's the proper way of doing it. So if you're doing yoga correctly, you're incorporating 3 things, a physical yoga, the positions, you're integrating the breath work, which is hugely important for your entire body and your mind. And then you're doing the meditation, which is great for clearing out all the noise and resetting yourself.
Absolutely. I think this is good, Ty. I think this was a great. Let's just end it here. I'm gonna go get something to eat. And Sam wants to come back on, and we'll give him an update. I'm game for that as well.
Okay, brother. I'm gonna go ahead and stop